Now, before the Conservative Party leadership started, the name Kemi Badenoch was perhaps rarely suggested as someone likely to replace Boris Johnson as Prime Minister, and yet the Saffron Walden MP is proving her popularity among party members. She's certainly secured some high-profile backers, including Michael Gove, and she hasn't shied away from stepping into the culture wars, questioning her rival Penny Mordaunt's account of her position when she was Minister for Women and Equalities. We can now talk to our next guest, who is Lee Rowley, her campaign manager. Thank you very much for being with us on the programme today. I think it is fair to say that, most of our viewers may not have heard the name Kemi Badenoch before this contest began. Prime Minister isn't an entry-level job. What was the most senior job that she has held in government?
So up until last week, she was a Minister of State in the local government department. She's held a number of jobs in a number of different departments, including Treasury. She's had the Equalities Brief. She's done some big jobs, admittedly not in Cabinet, but big jobs over the last 3 years, and she's done them well. It's not just about the job you have, it's about what you do with it. And the one thing Kemi has done over the last 3 years, taking on particularly the Equalities Brief, for example, demonstrates she's willing to take on people who don't necessarily agree with her. She's willing to state clear views, and she's willing to do something.
At the same time, though, this isn't an audition for opposition leader, right? The person who wins this is going to be the next Prime Minister. And are there any concerns that you have about whether someone whose highest level of experience they've had as a Minister of State is really ready to get the keys of Downing Street?
If I had concerns, I wouldn't be here, Sophie, this morning. I mean, if you look at what Kemi has done over 3 years, she's had some big jobs in government. She's taken on some difficult briefs. She's done some big things with them, some things which are challenging.
Like what?
But in terms of equalities, there's a very, very sensitive debate around that, around what you do with against racism, how you make sure that discrimination isn't around. She went and brought forward the Commission on racial disparity. She's actually trying to get the root causes of some of those issues against a huge amount of opposition. But if you look at Kemi compared to, say, David Cameron, zero ministerial experience.
Yeah, but he was opposition leader, this is the difference.
Zero ministerial...
He was elected to leader of the opposition.
He had not spent a day in ministerial office before he became Prime Minister in 2017. He'd not taken a single decision as a minister. Tony Blair had not taken a single ministerial decision.
Absolutely.
Kemi has done that.
I accept that, and I also accept that there is perhaps some, sexism in the way that we talk about a woman compared to the experience of David Cameron, George Osborne, Tony Blair. But the question is the fact that this is literally going into the job of Prime Minister.
Absolutely, and as I say, lots of ministerial experience, has more ministerial experience than some of the people who, by common consent, have been very big figures within our political system over the past 20 years. And I think the public are looking for something different. So if you are looking for something different, what Kemi offers is both the ability to change, the ability to say, actually, we've done some things, lots of things well over the last 12 years, but we need to do something different now.
She wants a slimmer
with
state.
Some experience. She does.
What specifically would she cut?
Well, she's going to set some more out of that in the coming days, but she's already talked about how we need to look at university courses, because there are some university courses which perhaps don't require public subsidy. She's talked about £300 billion worth of public money, taxpayer subsidy, which is spent every year by the government in procuring services. She wants to look at doing that better. And she also wants to look all across government.
Efficiency. That old chestnut that everyone talks about.
But the reason why people talk about it and it doesn't get delivered is because you don't go to the root causes of the issues. I have seen far too much government by press release when I've both been a minister and when I've been an MP. And the difference between Kemi and what's happened before under all parties is that Kemi is actually saying we need to go to the root cause of an issue, work out what the problem is, and then try and come forward with some solutions.
She's obviously talked a lot about the trans debate and Penny Mordaunt's position on trans right when she was Equalities Minister. Kemi Badenoch told the Sunday Times today, I'm not going to call her a liar. I think it's very possible she genuinely did not understand what she was signing off. I'm not sure what's worse, being called a liar or saying you didn't understand it.
Well, what Kemi is saying is this is a very... And if you go further down the Sunday Times article, Kemi is saying this is a very, very difficult issue with some very, very entrenched views on both sides. It needs to be handled sensitively. Penny has a set of questions to answer. I don't think she really answered those particularly well in debate on Friday. We'll see whether she does tonight, because either Penny did agree with self-ID and is now saying that she didn't, question why, or Penny didn't agree with self-ID, but it looks as though the government decided to go ahead with the civil service and the government and the department decided to do it anyway. Question, how did she let that happen? One of those two questions needs answering by Penny, and I look forward to her doing so later.
Baroness Williams, who worked in the department at the time, has hit out today about what she describes as factually incorrect representations put forward by leadership candidates, and she said that she's shocked to see such incorrect briefings. Do you think that this is really getting into the realms of mudslinging here?
Well, Penny just needs to clear up the point. Either she didn't agree with self-ID at the time and therefore she allowed the civil service to do something else. Question, was that the right thing for a minister to do? Or she did agree with self-ID and now she's saying she didn't. She can clear it up today if she wants to.
Well, she will be speaking today, obviously, but it does feel... Let's move on to other issues, shall we? There's been a lot on trans rights so far as well. I want to talk a little bit about Kemi Badenoch's position in the race, because it felt like, you know, she was kind of a big outsider. She's obviously outperformed many people's expectations. Conservative Home poll out today, which I think we can have another look at. Worth saying that this is unweighted, so, you know, there are questions about that. But Kemi Badenoch there, published July the 14th, clearly out in front. Do you think that she could make the final two?
Well, yeah, I do. We're here to make the final two. Kemi is absolutely in it to win. I mean, this leadership campaign, I think, is now 9 or 10 days old. And Kemi decided to run last week, talking to a group of us, because she thinks she's got something to say and she wants to try and change the country. And what I think this is showing, and as you say, it's a snapshot, but I think it's an important snapshot. It's saying that members of the Conservative Party want Kemi in the final two and want that debate to happen over the next 6 weeks about where the party is going, but more importantly, where the country needs to go.
I mean, Suella Braverman, another candidate of the right of the party, was eliminated on Thursday. She backed Liz Truss. Were you disappointed not to get her support?
Well, we're fighting for every colleague's support. I'll be on the phones later talking to colleagues to try and convince people that Kemi is the right person, and we're getting some really good feedback on that.
Specifically on Suella.
Well, Suella's a friend. She's a friend of Kemi's. People have to make their own decisions. I mean, you can't make half a decision. Suella's made a decision. She's written about that today, but I disagree with her, and I disagree. That's why I didn't join her campaign in the first place. That's why I didn't absolutely agree with some of the things she was saying, but that's part of the debate, and it's why I'm absolutely committed to getting Kemi into the final two as much as I can do, and then Kemi can make her case to the members and then in time to the British people as Prime Minister.
I'm quite intrigued about where Kemi Badenoch's support could go if she is knocked out. I know that you're going to say we're fighting to the final two, we want her to get to the next Prime Minister, but there is obviously a chance that she is eliminated in one of the earlier rounds. You know, some would like to see her throw her weight behind Liz Truss. We've heard Lord Frost say that, for example. But there are rumours that actually she may be more likely to roll in behind Rishi Sunak.
Well, you're absolutely right. I'm going to say that Kemi is in it to win it, because she is. Because we said to Kemi, a group of us, when Kemi was saying that she thought she was thinking about doing this, we said, if you're going to do it to win, and we'll back you. And that's why I'm here today, and it's why I've been trying to help on the campaign for the last 10 days. She is really serious about this. There are so many issues in our country. We've got to change it. And my personal view is we've got to change it with a fresh start.
I guess one of the conspiracies doing the rounds in Westminster is Michael Gove, her perhaps most high-profile backer, is doing this as a way to help Rishi Sunak into number 10, but perhaps without getting his fingerprints on it. Is it a bit black ops there for Michael Gove, you think?
I just don't know where some of this stuff comes from. I've been an MP for 5 years. This place just goes round and round and round in some very strange places sometimes. Kemi is in it to win. She wants to be Prime Minister. She's looking forward to changing the country, and that's why I'm backing it. I really hope she has the opportunity to do that. OK, thank you very much, Lee Rowley there, the campaign manager for Kemi Badenoch.